Hey guys, it's Saru, and it's been some time since I've gone over what kind of things are coming in an update for a game, and I figured I'd do that with TERA Console. The Bluehole team sent me an advanced copy of the patch notes to do this video, and I give them my thanks for that, so thank you guys. So we're going to get into what is coming in v91 or version 91 of TERA Console, which is set to release on March 25th. This video is not going to include any events that may be coming through this update, as well as bug fixes, so if you want to get that, you can go in the link which will be in the description below once the patch notes are out. Alright, so let's get right into it. So ever since the release of V90 or version 90 of the game, we're gonna see what exactly changes in V91. Starting at the top, Elin Valkyrie. I know this has been extremely wanted for by the community. I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen it on Facebook, and I keep getting DMs that I blocked my DMs about Elin Valkyrie. So it's going to be available. There is going to be a mission called A New Story, which is Valkyrie only, as well as a brand new zone quest called The Old Book, which will be available for other classes rather than Valkyrie. In addition to that, if you are already a Stanic Valkyrie, which is the only race you could be right now, you can race change immediately. So I know that players have been actually really excited about this, and as you're seeing in the background here, that is kind of the trailer that Bluehole created for the game for Elin Valkyrie for TERA Console, so I hope you guys are excited. We're going to get into some balancing here, and it's more improvements than anything. It's not quite a lot, but it seems pretty interesting. Now we're going to be a little biased here. Priest. Now Priest is getting a pretty big damage buff, which I have some opinions about. Metamorphic Blast. The skill damage is being increased by 10. In fact, the skill damage for Shock and Implosion, Zenobia's Vortex, Energy Stars are all being increased by 10%. Divine Charge, the cooldown is being reduced to 22 seconds rather than 24 seconds, and also while you're using it, you can restore MP for 7% while you're charging or whatever, up to 7 times, which is about 49% to everybody that you're pulsing, I guess you can say. The Fiery Escape skill, the cooldown is going to be decreased to 6 seconds, which is pretty good. Gaia Shield, the amount increased by 10%, so this means any percentage that we had, I don't have the number on the top of my head, so let's say like 80,000, you'll have 10% more added to that, so the endurance for the shield itself. Divine Prayer, the HP restoration, which is periodic, is being increased by 2%, so the players that actually use this skill, which is usually only used for emergency purposes, it will increase your HP by 2% more than it already was. Holy Burst, now we use this skill quite a bit for Priest, and it's being increased from 250 to 300 for the HP restoration. It's just a little buff for that. Restorative Burst is also getting an MP restoration boost from 25 to 75. Again, this is based on whatever you have on your stats and stuff like that. So it's just a little bit more MP to give players. Of course, you still want to use Mana Charge and, well, now Divine Charge, I guess. Now Archer. Archer isn't really getting much of a boost, but it is kind of changing a little bit. The number of arrows in Arrow Volley that players use if you're an archer is being changed to 9 regardless of the charge. So usually you would be charging and you'd have like 5 arrows. Now, regardless of that, it's being changed to 9, and the charge speed has been increased significantly, so you probably just want to charge anyways. The power of each arrow has been changed so that 9 arrows has the power of the existing 5 arrows. In addition to that, even if the arrow direction is facing the ground, the arrow will move horizontally so that the skill can be used more comfortably. So not much of a thing. It's not really a nerf, and it's not really much of a boost or anything like that, but at least you do get some charge speed increase, so that's something for archers. For berserkers, now they've had quite a bit of issues, but this seems to be pretty interesting. For Unleashed, the duration of Unleashed is increased from 12 seconds to 18 seconds, as well as the cooldown was changed from 210 to 180 seconds, which is pretty interesting. That means you can go into Unleashed much more. Lethal Strike has been changed into an immediately active skill, and the damage is the exact same as you would as a full charge. However, apparently the existing additional power that increased every 0.36 seconds has been removed, which is a good trade-off considering it's turning into an active skill that you could just immediately use over and over again. So that's honestly it for class balancing and improvements. Apparently there's going to be much more coming in V92, but this was just kind of to get the ball rolling on some of the things that are most important, I guess, but I'm not entirely sure how exactly this is going to be happening. I guess we might see some stuff in the hotfixes. Now for dungeons. Now Shadow Sanguinary and Shadow Sanguinary Hard Mode return. This was teased on TERA's Twitter and Facebook pages, which kind of made a little bit of a Decurion references, and Shadow Sanguinary will be available for 448s, while hard mode will be available for 453s. In addition to that, we have the training ground. Now, something that players have been asking for is a DPS meter, and this is kind of a DPS meter. Basically, you go into this, you fight a crab, you can talk to Warlock over in High Watch, which you can just enter the training ground there. You can fight this crab, which won't move, so you can measure the back attack that you have, and there are other options in there. Now, at the end of this whole match, you'll kind of see how the DPS meter works, and I know the team would like some feedback on how you would see this DPS meter implemented. Now again, there is a DPS meter being added for the game for all dungeons. It's not just this one. This is kind of using what PC already had, but at the same time getting feedback to see how players react to this and maybe see what suggestions would be properly implemented for the rest of the DPS meters. Now Manglemire returns. It is an event dungeon that comes back every few months. It's going to be a 439 dungeon, and in this you get a locked Mount Backs 100% box. I have no idea what that is, as well as enchanting materials for frost metal gears. Now there is going to be a 3rd anniversary coin, and it's a whole event going on there. Again, I'm not going to mention about the events, but if you combine the coin with the locked mount box 100% box, you can get some pretty interesting crafting materials and some jackpots. So it's something for you guys to grind if you're interested in that. And it's pretty interesting because I know a lot of people really like this dungeon. Antaroth Abyss and Antaroth Abyss hard mode is going to be closed, completely deactivated, so all of the feats will be moving over to the legacy feats, which means they no longer count towards your laurel. Instead of all the ethereal accessories and stuff like that, you'll be able to get through Shadow Sanguinary and Shadow Sanguinary hard mode. So yes, that does mean abyssal stuff, because the only way you can enchant ethereal accessories is to turn it abyssal. So it's going to be in Shadow Sanguinary hard mode and normal mode. With that deleted and, well, Shadow Sanguinary added, battle pass missions are going to be added and deleted along with the dungeons. So that's pretty much it for the dungeons that are coming or removing. Now there are some balancing coming to the dungeons. Now there is going to be a decrease in difficulty for some of the dungeons, especially 431s to 448. They're all going to be pretty much lowered at this point. For example, Ravenous Gorge, the phase 1, 2, and 3 bosses are going to have HP lowered. The same thing for Red Refuge, Darkreach Citadel, the first boss of Manias Core, or rather Resurrected Manias Core, Grotto of Lost Souls normal mode. Also the HP is going to be decreased for all 3 of the bosses. Darkreach Citadel hard mode for all 3 bosses, but not all is lost. There's going to be an increase in difficulty, whether it's through attacks or through HP, such as Thaw Metal Refinery, which is a 439 dungeon, Sky Cruiser Endeavor, which is the normal mode. Bosses are going to be having a bit more HP, which I think a lot of players were asking for because it's pretty much just go in there and get free stuff. The same thing for 453 Sky Cruiser Endeavor hard mode. All 3 bosses are getting HP increases, which I guess is what players wanted, so that is what you get. For Democron Factory hard mode and normal mode, both the first boss and the 3rd boss are getting their HP lowered. According to the dev team, the monster balance for some of the dungeons, even within the same tiers, differs from each other, so the clear time and reward efficiency were kind of uneven. Overall, dungeon rebalancing was made for a better play experience. So I guess that's what you got. So in addition to all of that, dungeon rewards were upgraded. So the expected quantity for the bonus material boxes, which I think everybody has loved, has been increased for all dungeons. Including this for increasing stuff, the expected quantity for emeralds and diamonds are slightly increased for Resurrected Manias Core, Red Refuge hard mode, Darkreach Citadel hard mode, Democron Factory hard mode, and Thaw Metal Refinery hard mode. So that means you'll probably see emeralds and diamonds a bit more than you would have before. For Veilthrogs, which are pretty difficult to acquire right now, you'll see an increase when it comes to Grotto of Lost Souls, Sky Cruiser Endeavor hard mode, Grotto of Lost Souls hard mode, and Dreadspire. And now for Concentrated Ectoplasm, I think this has been echoed everywhere on the community. It's going to be increased in Grotto of Lost Souls hard mode as well as Dreadspire. So if you want to get more than you would in Sky Cruiser or any other dungeon, you probably want to go to Grotto of Lost Souls hard mode or Dreadspire. Now this is one of the biggest things that I think players have been asking for, was the Elite revamp, and I've been assured that the Elite is going to be changed over time, so it's not like this is going to be 100% what it's going to be all the time, but this is what it's been revamped to right now. So for example, we have the Everfull Nostrum, which has been, well, pretty much all the time. We've always used this. There's going to be a new mount called this Formula Racer, which is going to be for all 3 elites. The Travel Journal, which has increased from 5 locations to 10 locations. That means you can go to 10 locations instead of 5. To be clear, that means you can save 10 locations. not just 5. The Elite gift box has been changed, so you basically get 100 metamorphic emblems guaranteed, and you also may get diamonds, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, and other stuff like that. The resurrection buff has been changed from 24 hours to 20 hours, so it's not a big change on there. But when it comes to passives, there is a pretty big change here. We already have the negative 70%, negative 50, and negative 50, so from going from gold, silver, and bronze. We also have the same thing that we have for additional entries, especially Gilliglade, and all of that stuff. Where it comes a little bit differently here is the reputation boost. We do get reputation boosts, which includes Vanguard initiative points. So if you're going to be farming Vanguards, you can get it with silver or gold and you'll get 100%, so you get a lot more than you would have. Additionally, you also get item XP increase by 30% if you're gold, 20% if you're silver, or 10% if you're bronze. So just passively, you can go ahead and get more item XP. You can stack this on with random things that you have, such as item XP plus 100 or plus 50%. It does stack on with the additional 30% that you have with elite status. For the contents level XP, now you may have noticed that we got this in V90. Basically, we have this whole content leveling system now where if you go to the info on your character, you can see you have PvP, you have life skills, you have PvE, you have adventures, whatever. And through doing specific activities, you kind of level this up. If you're elite status gold, you basically get 50% passive that you can, well, level up faster. And this can stack with the rest. So if you have 100% or you have 50% from events, then you can stack that on. We have the crafting skill XP boost by 100%. We have an increased gathering, crafting, and harvesting by 30% for elite status gold and 20% for silver. And this is pretty much what people wanted. I think a lot of players have been asking for this for a long time, is how does the brokerage work? So for the earnest money requirement, it's going to be 2%, silver is going to be 3%, and bronze is going to be 4%. The brokerage free for gold will be 0%, silver will be 5%, and then bronze will be 10%. So instead of the percentage that we did have, so every time you would place an item or that you would buy an item, it's going to be significantly lowered. For fish selling, I know there's a lot of fishing players in the game. If you're elite status gold, you can sell 10 more than you could if you were silver, for example, which you could sell 5 more. And when it comes to crates, you can sell 2 more with elite status gold, whereas with silver you can sell 1 more for the crates. Now number 5, the improvements in the leveling up period. I think this is something that needs a huge change, and I'm so happy to see that it's starting to change. So Step Isle Island, for example, the quest line from 13 to 20 has been changed. So it's going to be more with essential content. What that means is that through level 13 to level 20, some of the quest lines were changed, some of the unnecessary movement lines have been slightly adjusted, so you don't have to go from place A to place B. It's much more easier. Quest hunting and gathering quantity has been basically decreased. Some of the monsters will be a tiny bit harder. Monster items were changed, so now there's going to be flawless Vulcan armor, for example, which will drop in Bastion of Loch solo mode, which when you enchant will be pretty much better performance than relic weapons. Things like that. And according to the dev team's comment, it is determined that the movement path is too long in the leveling up period, which led to the absence of a tense battle experience and a lack of fun in acquiring items, so we plan to improve it sequentially. In this build, only the first period corresponding to levels 1 to 20 has been improved. The remaining levels, so 21 to 65, are scheduled in the next build. So that means we should be seeing a huge change in how leveling works, how fun it is, because right now it's extremely boring for a lot of players, and it's nice to see that they're actually listening and they're going to be changing this. For Champion Skyring, it used to be 3v3s, it's going to be changed into a 2v2. So it used to be that the existing rule was that there should be one fixed healer for a group, but in order to alleviate the difficulty of matching due to lack of healers, because there's not that many, because everyone's switching to different classes, especially when there's a leveling event going on, like there is right now, a fixed healer is now required. So you have a fixed healer, you need to be a DPS, or you could just be 1 DPS, 1 healer, 1 DPS, 1 tank. There's no requirements for those. The only requirement is that you need to be a DPS. So if you're interested in a 2v2 in Champion Skyring, which will just be DPS, that will be available for you. Now, according to the team, when entering, the balancing will be changed. In Champion Skyring, the healing amounts will be decreased. So the HP that you normally have will be increased. The MP continuous recovery that you get will be automatically applied, so everyone's going to get an MP continuous recovery effect. The Noctinium Elixir that's usually just passively there, so the green hands, you might be used to that, will be removed. Lancer, Priest, and Mystic's common gear balance will be improved. With Champion Skyring, if you win, you'll get 2 Warmonger tokens, and if you lose, or you get a draw, you get 1 token. So I think this is where people are going to be pretty excited. The enchantment stage of Heroic Oath or Phyrexian has been changed to +6. That's right, +6. So let me stop here for a second. TERA PC has never had +6 in their life. Not in Korea, not in North America, not in Europe. Nowhere. We are the first to ever have a +6 Heroic Oath, and it's pretty interesting because the color is yellow, and then who knows if we're gonna get +9, which is a bright white. So the enchanting material that we have right now, everyone's used it, which has been Veilthrox, silver plates, golden plates, concentrated ectoplasm. You can still use that until +4. From +5 and +6, you're going to be needing a new material called Organotinium. That's what you're going to be using to enchant everything. Now, this new material, you can get it from Grotto of Lost Souls hard mode, and a brand new 457 dungeon that's coming in the coming days. Not going to say where, not going to say what it is or when it's coming, but it's coming. And you can also get it for a very small amount in Dreadspire. So if you want to get this new material, you need to be doing these 3 dungeons, or 2, because one of them is coming soon, so that's for you to know. Now, I know a lot of people have this honor scroll that they use on their weapon, especially if they're +3 right now. Now, if you have a +6 weapon by some chance, and you get it honored, or you have a +3 honor weapon and you get it to +6, you're basically going to get an additional +2% damage, which will replace the previous +3 enchantment result. So it's not going to stack to the previous one, it's just going to replace it with a +2% damage. But when it comes to staffs and scepters, so for priests and mystics, your +6 will be changed to cooldown reduced by 2%. So that's pretty massive. That means +6 is coming on March 25th. So get ready to grind. It's gonna be pretty crazy. Now, there's gonna be a stat title system added. What does that mean? That means combat stats will be applied to certain titles. So if you equip the title with combat stats, basically you go to your character info, you go to UI and title, it will be activated. Some of these titles will give you combat effects, such as more damage or more HP, whatever the case. You can see basically all of them when you go to your feats. You'll see all of the titles, which will give you brand new things. Now, the only way to get these titles is by going to feats and, well, clearing a dungeon or whatever the case, whatever it says for that feat, and it will give you a brand new stat. Now, some of these titles are already there, so if you've already cleared a dungeon or something, you've already done this title, some of these titles may now have a brand new stat for you, so you can wear that. All of these titles will basically now have a reason for them. Now, it's not going to be all titles, but it's going to be some. So make sure to keep an eye on that. Dreadspire Season 3. I know people are playing Dreadspire, especially to get that free TERA coin, so they clear it as quickly as possible. But it's going to be starting from March 25th to June 3rd. The first clear rewards are going to be the same as Season 2, but the boss rewards from the 5th challenge are going to be slightly increased, so you can get a bit more stuff. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a lot more bug fixes, a lot more improvements and stuff like that, which you can check on the website at TERA-Console.com, or you can go to the description below or on the pinned comment somewhere, and you'll be able to see that it's all there. So this is pretty interesting. This is V91 coming on March 25th. I'm pretty interested about this. I want to hear what you guys think about it. I'm not really sure. There's a lot going on here on TERA Console, and that's just V91. There is so much more coming in V92. And apart from the fact that TERA PC never had +6 Heroic Oath, we already have Phyrexian, plus now we have Phyrexian and +6, so it's pretty crazy. We also have the honor system, which, again, PC never had. So we're becoming more and more our own game. Alright guys, let me know what you guys think, and we'll talk about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable f***ing bell to know when I upload a brand new video. And don't forget to come join my Discord if you want to chat and hang out. Much love, and as always, till next time, friends.